Thank you, Cahill. I've tabled this debate this morning to highlight the urgent need for Howth Harbour to be dredged in order to ensure its long-term viability as a commercial fishing port, leisure harbour and tourist destination. The harbour is silted up to such an extent in recent years that the current situation in Howth is bordering on dangerous. Even medium-sized fishing trawlers cannot enter the harbour at low tide, whereas a few years ago the harbour was accessible in all but the worst of weather. Now boats have to lie off before entering the harbour for fear of catching the bottom and damaging their vessels. Also, movement around the trailer basin at strong low tides is impossible. Groundings are now more commonplace and can result in serious engine damage. The silting has also created problems for the Dublin Bay ferry service, which has found that it can't keep to its schedule because it's restricted as to when it can and cannot enter the harbour in Howth. This ferry also uses Dublin Port and Dún Laoghaire and does not have such problems there. Leisure boats are encountering difficulties, and this is likely to have a seriously detrimental effect on Howth Yacht Club's ability to hold major national and international sailing events. I've also been told that it's now a regular occurrence for visiting boats in particular to run aground in the entrance channel and within the harbour. I've been warned that it's only a matter of time before the harbour is blocked by grounded vessels, compromising safety and potentially preventing the operation of emergency services, including the lifeboat. I understand that even after a decision to dredge the harbour has been made, it may take 2 to 3 years to carry out the dredging programme, as the necessary permits and licences will have to be obtained. In the meantime, the crisis will get worse, and with more groundings and more risk to harbour users. The annual accumulation of silt may cause some harbour activities to completely cease within 2 to 3 years. Potential future business opportunities and proposed leisure activities and events will not be given a chance without a scheduled commitment to dredge the harbour. For these reasons and more, it's essential that the Department of the Marine commits now to dredging Howth Harbour as a matter of priority and sets aside funding for this immediately.
Tara. Yeah, look, first of all, can I thank Senator Power for raising this important issue. The Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine is responsible under statute for the 6 fishery harbour centres located in Howth, Dunmore East, Castleclownbere, Dingle, Rossaveel and Killybegs. All 6 fishery centres are first and foremost working fishery harbours which provide essential services and facilities to the fishing industry around the coastline of Ireland. Each fishery harbour centre has unique features which facilitate a broad range of other diverse activities which are important from both an economic and social perspective. The Department is conscious of the need to facilitate and further develop the fishing and non-fishing activities at the harbour. This involves day-to-day operational support by harbour staff and management, and development and repair of infrastructure subject to available financial resources. I am happy to advise the House that, notwithstanding the prevailing economic environment in which we operate, in excess of €4.2 million has been invested in maintenance, development and upgrading works at Howth as part of the Department's annual Fisheries Harbour and Coastal Infrastructure Development Programme 2011-2014. For 2015, Mr Coveney approved funding of €1.79 million for the maintenance and development of Howth Fishery Harbour Centre. Major works for 2015 include the continued upgrading of the electrical system, provision of a small craft pontoon and traffic management works. Siltation in Howth is recognised as an issue, you rightly pointed out, and has been kept under review. It has been discussed with various stakeholders. Indeed, officials from the Department attended the Howth Harbour Users Forum on the 29th of January 2015. And used the occasion to have a number of meetings with users where the issue of dredging was discussed. A further meeting with Howth Yacht Club was held on the 17th of July, where again the question of dredging was the main item for discussion. As part of the 2015 Fisheries Harbour Centre Development Programme, the Minister sanctioned €150,000 to carry out site investigation work in Howth for the West Pier pontoon and the Middle Pier upgrade. The site investigation contractor commenced work on site in early November and is expected to be substantially complete by the end of this year. It is anticipated that the report on the site investigation will be issued in early 2016. This report will include information on the nature of the material to be dredged and the extent of contaminated material within the dredged footprints. This information is required to prepare a dumping at sea licence application, which of course will be necessary for the commencement of any dredging project that's needed in the area. It will also provide the basis for an informed estimate of the costs and dredging the harbour at Howth. As with all other developments in the 6 fishery harbour centres, a dredging project at Howth Fisheries Harbour Centre will be considered under future capital programme on the basis of the available exchequer funding and competing priorities. The suite of projects for inclusion in the 2016 programme is being considered at present, and the Minister will make the announcement in due course, taking into account what has been said here and indeed the value of Howth, particularly on the east coast. And I would be confident maybe that would be included because it stands up as a project, and we'll be hopeful for it.
Question, Senator.
Thank you. Well, I welcome the Minister's confirmation that Howth, there is clear evidence there already that it does stand up as a project and that dredging is needed. Also note your statement that the 2016 programme is still being considered, so it hasn't been finalised yet, so there is still time for Howth to be included in that programme. I think that is absolutely essential, and it shouldn't wait for consideration until after the investigation is finished. As you've said yourself, the case for dredging is already clear. Now, the scope of the works and what exactly needs to be carried out, obviously the investigation will be helpful in determining that, but we all know that Howth needs to be dredged. I can give you visual evidence of trawlers that have run aground, and I have photos of those, of trawlers that have run aground in the harbour, so it's very, very clear that the work does need to be done. I think the key thing at this point is to get a commitment, as I said, to get the work started as soon as possible, because things are getting worse all the time. And like from the point of view say, of the yacht club, we've had some major international sailing events in Howth over the last few years, including the Etchells sailing competition, which is huge, internationally prestigious competition. As things stand, they're concerned about pitching for future events in 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time, until a commitment is in place that the harbour will be dredged, because they don't know if they'll actually be able to deliver. As I said, leisure boats are constantly running aground, particularly from people who aren't familiar with the area. So it is really important that a commitment is given now. So I would urge you just to go back and talk to the officials and make sure that Howth is given serious consideration for the 2016 programme, and that this is progressed as soon as possible. Thank you.
Very briefly again, just to assure the Senator that I will take back the points that you have made. I agree, I think we're all at one in relation to the need. It's obviously about the funding, the availability of funding, but obviously Howth is a very strong case. As I said earlier on, it's the only one on the East Coast, and there's a lot of potential there. And, you know, if you could do them all, and they could all be done together, and if you any endless resources, which we haven't, when that's, I think the case that's been made, and the very strong case that you put here this morning, I think it will also help. But I will relate what you've said to the officials, but also to Mr. Simon Coveney, who is certainly very, very committed, just to assure you that it's one of the priorities. We want to get it done as best as possible. Thank you.
Minister.